Imagine if you could unlearn war. Not just the kind with missiles and medals, but the kind that lives in homes, in hearts, in bones. What would it take to rewire the mind before it reaches out for a weapon? You see, we say we want peace, but somehow war keeps happening over land, over oil, over pride, power, and it begs the question, why? Why do we keep going to war? Not just globally, but I'm saying personally, in families, in friendships, in ideologies. Why is conflict so deeply wired into us that we keep marching into battle even when the cost is unbearable? Let's talk about the psychology of war. You see, what drives it, what feeds it, and why it refuses to leave us. You see, at our core, we are wired to survive, and that's not philosophy, that's biology. Our most ancient brain, the reptilian brain, exists to protect. See a threat, cortisol, adrenaline, fight, flight, freeze. This part of the brain doesn't think, it reacts. And the problem? The modern world still triggers ancient reflexes. A glance feels like an insult. A disagreement feels like danger. A different opinion feels like betrayal. The line between protection and provocation is paper thin. And when a group of people feel threatened together, they don't de-escalate. They mobilize, they rally, they attack. War is fear dressed up as strength. War isn't just about resources, it's about identity, belonging, the deep human need to be part of an us. And the fastest way to create an us is to name a them. You see, psychologists call this in-group versus out-group bias. It's subconscious, it's ancient, and it's deadly. We empathize with people who look like us, think like us, pray like us, vote like us. And when the other becomes a threat to our group's safety or meaning, violence becomes justifiable. Not because we're evil, but because we are afraid of losing what makes us whole. You see, war becomes a defense of identity, a battle for belonging. And here is where it gets darker. Because not all fear is organic, some of it is engineered. Governments, ideologies, regimes, they know the brain's wiring and they know how to bend it through slogans, media, repetition, us versus them, good versus evil. God is on our side. You see, the bullets only come later. The war begins with words. Once the story is seeded, people water it themselves because righteousness feels good, even if it requires stepping over bodies to keep believing it. But war isn't just about fear. It's about ego, the glory of conquest, the high of dominance, the rush of being remembered. We don't just want to survive, we want to matter. And war offers a stage, flags, medals, statues, songs. Peace is invincible, but violence is loud, and the loud gets remembered. In the minds of the powerful, war often feels worth it. Not because they don't feel the cost, but because they want the crown more than they want the quiet. Here's the part we bury. War never really ends, even when treaties are signed. You see, the trauma stays in bodies, in bloodlines, in silence, veterans, civilians, children raised in ruins. And psychologists will call this intergenerational trauma. When the pain isn't healed, it gets handed down. The next war often starts with wounds of the last one. So, is it inevitable? Biology says maybe. History says probably. Psychology says not if we evolve. Because the same brain that reacts can also reflect. The same wiring that defaults to attack can learn to pause. Peace isn't weakness, it's discipline. It's slower, it's harder, but it's possible. We can train for peace the same way we trained for war. You see, war is easy, but peace takes work. War is loud, but peace is quiet. But if we never learn the mind beneath the war, we will keep building bombs instead of building bridges. You were made for more than survival, more than sides, more than flags soaked in blood. We have to say this out loud. We have to call it what it is. Because if we don't, we'll keep marching blind and brave into battles that never had to happen. Peace begins when we start asking why before we choose how.